SGA, Mr. Charles Brooks and Ocoszio Jackson. Mr. Jackson, please start with, an introduction of your platform.
All right, greetings. My name is Ocoszio Jackson. I'm a junior political science major from Dublin, Georgia, and my platform is the Ultimate SGA Experience. We're looking at reforming 3 different areas of campus: enhancing technology, reforming the academic environment, and improving campus life. So that's basically what my platform is about.
Mr. Brooks.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Charles Brooks II. What I like to call is the Brooks Brothers Black Card. I really want to bring that type of quality experience towards the SGA. Endless points, endless opportunities, endless rewards. And the way I plan on doing this is what I call TSA, through transparency, service, and advocacy.
Okay, and we'll get in with the questions. These questions come from students, your former classmates, many former SGA representatives, as well as current representatives of SGA. All right, Mr. Jackson, you are the president pro tempore of the Senate, authoring presumably 15 of the 20 to 22 bills this year.
Correct you there.
Okay.
I roughly authored 9 out of the 20 bills that we had this session, but there were 6 roughly that I co-sponsored. So
Okay.
that's where that number comes from. But 9 directly I authored.
Okay, so 9 authored and 6 co-authored, which came to 15 with your name on it. However, many students have not seen the impact of those bills. What does it say about your engagement with the student body?
Okay. I would definitely say, to start off, to answer that question, I know that the SGA Senate Scholarship has been one of the most tangible resources that we've provided to students. The SGA Senate is a legislative body, and our duty as senators is to write legislation. So that's what I've done. I've shown that I'm able to take that legislation and also put it into a tangible means. One reason I'm moving from the legislative branch to the executive branch is because I think it's time to move away from just writing, but going on and taking that policy and executing it. So that's why I'm moving to be SGA president.
Okay, and with that execution, do you believe that you were tenacious in making sure that the bills that you did author or co-author were enacted this year or last year?
I would say definitely I was tenacious in making sure that those bills were introduced as action. I think that where I could have improved was communicating a bit more with the vice president, both last year and this year, to make sure that the president had an understanding of what bills we were passing in the Senate. But as far as making sure that we were engaged in making those bills action, I think that I did a good job.
Okay. Mr. Brooks.
Yes, sir.
Some believe that your recent presidency was a failure, citing only 2 events in a sophomore week, that is in conjunction with the Spelman College and Clark Atlanta University. How can you lead a student body if you cannot lead a class?
Excellent question. Let me correction. There was only 2 events on campus. We did several things off campus. At the beginning of the year, we did work with Metro Youth Atlanta Recovery, and so we did a community service project in a neighborhood not too far from here, where we served food to kids, read books to kids. This was a class council initiative. The second thing we did was other places you'll go with the senior class initiative, where they brought kids in and we taught them on the importance of being well dressed. That was another thing that we did here. And we also sponsored with the Fallout Play, which is a play that raises money to raise funds, things of that nature, for HIV/AIDS and STD studies.
Absolutely. When you talk about the subsidiary events that you co-sponsored with other people as well as with some schools, how many students of your class, other than your council, how many were present at that time?
Well, it ranged from program to program. So if you talk about the Fallout Play, that's a sellout play, where we sold tickets. Whether you talk about the Miss Sophomore pageant, we sold over 400 tickets even before the show. And even with the campaign, Barack Obama's campaign last semester, where we registered over 250 guys to vote. So it ranges from program to program.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, many former leaders and students have cited your inability to speak up in time of need. How can you be a SGA president without a solid voice rallying for the SGA?
All right.
Student government?
Well, I've expected that question. As I started as a senator my freshman year, I really took the opportunity to come into SGA and feel my way around. I feel like coming in and just being a voice without actually knowing what's going on is a bad idea. As time progressed, I've been in SGA for 3 years. I was elected this year to be president pro tem because I was a voice of reason. I understand how SGA works, and I have a knowledge of what we need to do. And as far as speaking goes, you were in the Senate with me. there were times where maybe I was too vocal this year and not allowing the other senators to speak up. But that's a part of growing as a leader. You know, you have to take those things that maybe you don't do the best at and work at them and improve. And I'll definitely say now I'm speaking up for the voice of the students as I've been going around and interviewing and talking with the administration to make sure that my platform is both feasible and tangible.
Okay, and we do understand growth. Some senators or former senators in the 83rd session could cite that. Do you believe that you speaking up or starting to speak up during this session was because of your plan to run for SGA president this year?
Definitely not. You know, it took me some personal time. It was personal growth, and we all grow at different levels. So me speaking up now is not. I've decided to run for SGA president. I found my voice, and I know how to communicate my ideas where it's effective, and it goes across where they understand what I'm saying.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, students have concerns that your aura could be a little domineering. Being SGA president, you have to be social to everyone in every crowd. How can you genuinely change this perception, even if it's not true?
Oh, great question. I think there's a certain times where I believe that you have to be that dominant figure, especially when it comes to being in meetings, getting policies across. And that's the kind of attitude that I've learned here that the administration has. And I want to be able to use both, working with the students and administration when I'm trying to get policies pushed across, events publicized in the necessary time. So I do think that's appropriate. However, that is not an excuse to have that kind of attitude when talking with students. I genuinely care about students, so I want that genuineness to come out of me, and I want students to be able to see that.
How do you think that you could change that perception, or do you believe that perception at all?
No, I don't believe it at all. What I have to do is just keep talking to people, being personable. I'm an RA in grades. If they understand, my residents, they understand that Charles understands the importance of when it means to be dominant at times. But he can also be that social guy who loves to have a good time with you, will talk about anything that you're going through. And I want to be that individual for students, you be that individual working with administration, and so on.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you two the same question, and I'm going to start with Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, this was although you've been a student senator for the past 3 years, this was your first time in a leadership role over leaders. How well are you able to lead the Student Government Association with leaders that are in the Senate, with leaders that are in the judiciary branch, as well as the executive branch? Do you think that you've grown or learned?
You know, I think I've definitely grown as a person and as a leader here at Morehouse College. Morehouse politics is an interesting game. It really is. And you have to learn to work with people, because there are some people that have stronger voices who are going to try to overshadow other people, and there are those people who are timid, like I started out, you know. And I found out that what's most important about SGA is knowing how it works and being able to engage with students. Taking those two things and providing the students with tangible resources so that students say, you know, I see that you have done this on campus. I understand that you're working for me. That's what SGA is all about, and that's what I've done in my 3 years of service.
Okay. Mr. Brooks,
yes,
you ascended to class council president, sophomore class council president, after, you know, just being a freshman, a notable freshman, and working in the president's office. Do you believe that your presidency this year has engaged you enough to be an SGA president so soon?
Absolutely. But like you said, it's not only me being sophomore class president, it's being an RA as well, having that engagement with my freshman students, my freshman residents. And beyond that, working in the president's office, helping students that come in and out, trying to be as inclusive as possible. I think that's really key to who I am, and that's going to be key to my administration as well.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with closing statements with Mr. Jackson.
Okay. My platform is the ultimate SGA experience. It talks about doing tangible things for students on campus. Now, you're going to hear that we need to stick with transparency. You're going to hear that we need to stick with communication, and you're going to hear that we need to stick with advocacy. Those things are very important, and when I take the oath, I plan to uphold them. But what tangible things is SGA doing for the student body? You need to ask yourself, are the plans that the presidential candidate's doing going to be feasible? Who have they talked to ensure that it's going to happen? My name's Ocoszio Jackson, and I'm running for SGA president.
Thank you again, Mr. Bart, for having me on your show. When it comes to the SGA, you should think about the SGA representing you. Find that candidate who looks more like you, who can relate to you, who can bring about change in your condition in your own communities. The most relatable person you can find. Charles Brooks is that guy for you. And thank you again.
Thank you all. Again, this is Mr. Ocoszio Jackson and Mr. Charles Brooks running for SGA President. Thank you.